Well, our work is all about family, home, journey, and it's all about our everyday experiences. And it's just an extension of what we do every day. In this case, we're doing a lot of work that talks about the idea of dislocation and migration.
Especially now that we are migrants ourselves.
Yeah, so,
and we love working with communities as extending and sharing the task of making with, as we say, ordinary people or non-art people.
I think it's a very good way of what we call demystifying the very idea of what art is all about, yeah. When you actually extend and involve people or non-art people to make art, and probably that's the best strategy for them to be able to connect in what we do.
And engage more, I suppose.
And also we do use everyday materials, everyday objects that talks about an idea, and also objects that ordinary people can easily relate to. And yeah, I think that's the best way for them to relate, and for us to communicate our ideas. Yeah, we started working with a project which is about more than 10 years now.
11 years now.
Which is the project Belonging. And it is a series of works that we've created with that idea of, that talks about the idea of identity.
And dislocations,
migrations, more especially where we come from a country where a lot of our countrymen lives their country every day, to
look for greener pastures and seek a better life.
And also we came from a country where making do is a norm. So, and of course we have this long history of our colonial history, in which basically we started to look into the idea of identity, and that started the work or the project, Project Belonging, or Belonging.
And 4 years ago, we decided to move to Australia with our 5 children. And that also started the next project that we are looking into, which is
the Another Country
project.
The project that we've been working since we moved to Australia is with this another project, we call it Project Another Country, that talks about that idea of being away from home and being in a country wherein it becomes some kind of your adopted country. But it also talks about the idea of home, wherein you always look at a place wherein, you know, what you really call home. But I think by the time you leave your home,
or your own motherland,
there's no, in a way for us, the way we look at it, there's no home anymore, because like we live in Australia now, we cannot call Australia our home.
And neither we can call Philippines our home
anymore.
Being, you know, you just feel that you're always in the middle.
And that middle, I think, is
that what we call the another
country. So we always look at things in
double vision, we call it, or in Spanish, doble vista.
Doble vista.
And see beyond what's just in front of you all the time. Even the simplest of an object or a situation or in any everyday, circumstances, I'd say.
And this is what we're actually working on now. We're doing projects
that relates to a place, talks about us as a community, most especially.
And simultaneously, we also do a lot of projects in the Philippines that talks about how we look at things in a different way, being, what do you call ourselves? Well, in a way, being a foreigner, really. Yeah, I think, yeah, we become foreigner. So, and the project that we're working on now is part of the series that we're doing under the project Another Country, which actually started when we moved to Australia.
It's one way of us to be able to find our grounds and to find and know where we are and who we are by starting connecting to communities and people.
I think place is a very important aspect in our work because we always deal with, like our work deals always with the site. And most of the time we always work in situ. So we always also work with materials that is readily available within that environment that talks about the particular idea. So yeah, we always work with materials that relates to an idea, and in this case, since we're talking about the idea of movement and migration, we started looking into using cardboard boxes, which is actually a very strong metaphor for travel, transport, vessel, movement, container, so all those sorts of things. And extending our practice to, again, communities, especially the migrant community. But of course, we consider everyone migrants. Well, the Passage project actually started when we had an exhibition in UK about a year ago, and which is in Liverpool. And we started looking into, since we had our Australian passport, we started looking into the history of Australia and its connection with in Europe. And when we had an exhibition in Liverpool, we thought of start looking into the story of a place, which is actually Liverpool is a major port of departure during the early period of the 20th century. And also the space where we get to show our work is Albert Dock. You know, of course, Albert Dock is where all those migrants started when they moving to Australia. So Passage, we started the word Passage. And as an extension, we also look into the parallel history of Australia and New Zealand. But looking beyond that,
coming from the Philippines, it's also an island.
Yeah.
And doing the project here in New Zealand, we checked on, or shall we say, looked on the history of the migrants, or how the first settlers came into.
Yeah, so we found out about the story about the first people who came in by boat. So we started working with boats. And we came across with this story about the great fleet, which composed of the seven, which is actually based on like a very selective way of writing history, in which, of course, we're very interested with that idea of how we create or write history. So we did a lot of projects before with this idea of manufacturing history. So we thought of creating another layer of, in a way, fiction based from facts with this project, which is we have an additional fleet, which is the 8th fleet, in addition to Percy Smith's narrative of history of New Zealand's, the great New Zealand myth, shall we say.
And of course, thinking that the first settlers came in with their boats. That's why we're making a huge boat, and asking the community to contribute their small boats as well, to be part of this big boat.
We've been working with school children, creating their little boat made out of cardboard, but also asking them their stories about how they understand history and also migration.
Or how even their forefathers or ancestors came about, how they came over or moved to New Zealand.
And we are actually incorporating these boats, or shall we say these narratives, to the big work, which is the big boat, that becomes some kind of an imagined community or a collective narrative of history coming from different kids.
And also that we are inverting the boat, thinking that we believe as, the first settlers, when they come in an island, what they do is they need shelter, so they invert the boat, having that first roof for them.
So that's basically the idea of the inverted boat. It's all about the idea of dwelling, and it's also about the very idea of settlement.
And using as well the material itself, the cardboard, or the packing boxes, is the idea of using them as making boats is also, that relates to, of course, a vessel as well.